Okay, so hi there, this is Sandra Rodney. I am doing another podcast on hidden gems, and today I am having a conversation with, I don't know if she's hidden, but a gem that everybody needs to know about. Her name, of course, is Rachel, and she has something called Rachel Academy. So I'm going to let Rachel tell you a little bit more about her academy and herself. So Rachel, how are you, and welcome.
Thank you, Sandra, for having me. First of all, guys, Sandra's such a lovely person. We've known each other on LinkedIn. She's been following me, commenting. She's been
Yes.
so faithful on all my stuff I post out. So I just want to say, you know what, she's such a lovely person. I thank you, Sandra, for your work that you're doing. And I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Oh, that's fine. So tell us about you and a bit about the academy, this wonderful academy that I have been following. I've been a big fan. Okay, everybody needs to know I've been a big fan of Rachel's Academy, only because I see your stuff out there and I'm like, wow, there's
Yeah.
so much learning. So tell us about it. Like, how did you
Yeah.
go in?
Well, you know what? It looks like I had everything together, but I didn't. I'll be honest with you. I was a wreck. When I started, gosh, it's about 18 years ago, didn't have a clue what I was doing. I actually hadn't come onto the internet before that because I was in an environment where we weren't allowed to have the internet. I call it a cult now, but I didn't know then it was a cult. It
Oh,
was just,
wow.
yeah, I was in an actual cult. We found that it was a cult, but I came to that environment when I was 16, quite young, and I stayed there right till I was 33. So you can imagine the mindset that it had on me. It was very controlling. We had to do what they told us to do. We had to raise our children, get married, all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people don't know that background of my story, but I think that's what shaped me to who I am today. So I was quite a late bloomer when it comes to marketing and social media, like what I do. But what made me do it was because I came out of that environment and I went to find myself. I knew I had a lot of gifts that was hidden, and I thought the best way to do it was journaling. And so when I started, I was doing secret journaling. What I mean by that was I wasn't posting anything online. I was just create a blog, and I think it was a one of those free blogs, and I just started writing and just trying to express myself and kind of know who I am, what I like, trying to find out about the world. And so I just left it for a little while. And I had that journal for a year and a half, and I didn't go live till I started looking around the internet, finding out what was going on, kind of trying to find my niche, who I was. And then a friend introduced me to network marketing, got into network marketing, started doing really well. I liked it. A lot of people kept asking me questions all the time. So I thought, look, I'm journaling already. Let me start writing down what I'm learning, how I'm doing it, because I didn't know why I was being successful. I was just doing something that I love. I think because I got off the gate, I was like, oh, I can do something now. I could do something now. After, a long time not doing anything, I felt this kind of excitement and joy. So I really didn't know what was making me successful. So I thought I'll journal it. And so I'm doing that again for another 6 months, enjoyed it. And then I thought I'll publish it. I thought, oh, let me publish it and see what will happen, see if I get any attraction. And then I think after like 2 weeks, so someone posted a comment on one of my blogs, and then it just went on from there and there and there. People asking me questions, do I charge for this and that kind of stuff. I didn't even know I could charge any money. So it was really
Wow.
just an accident, really, of Rachel Academy. It was called a different blog name 18 years ago, and it just grew to Rachel Academy. Yeah.
Wow. How awesome. It's great to hear your kind of humble beginnings and how you've gone on this journey and just evolved into quite a successful person. I'm going to say that because I feel like you're very successful in what you do. You definitely challenged me. But what have been some of your challenges along the road, to get in to Rachel Academy?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I changed my slogan about 8 months ago. It used to be called, it's still called, I still do launch, run and grow. So what I mean, I still help startups, people in business for a year to 2 years, and people who are like corporate businesses, big businesses. So I still work with those kind of brands. But 8 months ago, I changed my slogan to from launch, run, grow to business and wellness. And because I changed that, because I had a really adverse situation in my life. I met my husband at 16. He was the one who kind of led me to the to the environment that I went into, and been with him still 28 years. And last year we went through a difficulty. We thought we were going to separate because you get to that level of mediocre. And when we left that environment, we didn't get any help. So it's been 14 years since we left that environment, but we were still, it felt like we were both still in that environment. So there was a lot of things that I hadn't changed, even though I was growing in business, but my mindset, who I was a person, I hadn't really looked inside myself. And it was a big shock when a lot of things start coming up to the surface and you were like, oh, you know, and so I had to kind of look at myself personally rather than kind of like, because we don't really take time to look at ourselves. I think COVID caused a lot of people to just sit down and reflect with themselves, because they couldn't go out, they couldn't meet the people that were meeting. There was a lot of silence. So you can kind of have to, there was a lot more time spending with yourself. So for me, I had to go on that journey, and I started getting help. I got a mentor. I got my husband. I went to marriage counseling, and things are much better than ever before. We're much closer, more in love, because we loved each other, but we just didn't have the tools to go from where we were. And like I said, being in the wrong environment, and even though I pushed that and came out of environment, again, I didn't really know how I did it. I just did. I'm a fighter, but sometimes you could just be fighting and you don't know who you're fighting. You don't know how you're fighting. You just like, just fight. But now I've got the boxing glove on. Now I know I'm in the ring. I know what I'm doing. And that makes such a difference in life. And a lot of us don't like to admit, especially people in my level, don't want to admit that, they struggle, they go through things. They want to make it look like everything's fine, everything's perfect. And, that's not life. It really isn't life. And I like to say, well, I had everything together. I had all my T's ticked, all my I's dotted. No, I failed to success. And I'm still just literally hanging on in the sense of my understanding of who I am. And I think it's so much more important for me. Now I'm going out doing Rachel Academy and I help people. It's all about authentic, about knowing yourself, and then have that foundation to go out there. And so I'm not coming from an expert perspective now. I'm just might be a little bit beside you. I'm not even coming, I'm ahead of you. I'm beside you. It's just because of the difficulties I've gone through that's made me stronger and learn. And from that, I want to give you and say, you can do it too. You can be successful. You can be where I am. It doesn't have to be me and then say, oh yeah, I'm an expert, and you. No, it's we can, and that's the journey I'm learning from, the journey I went through 8 months ago. So Rachel Academy is more from that perspective, teaching people holistic living while building a business, because success can be so different for so many people. And when I started in marketing, there was no one black and a woman in my industry. It was just all white men. And so I followed what they were doing because I didn't have a clue. And prior to that, I wasn't on the internet, didn't have a computer, didn't have nothing. So when I started, it was like literally just following people. And so I spent a lot of money saying, you have to be strong, you have to pretend to be someone, you have to, all this stuff. And I followed. And didn't work for me. I started realizing this is not who I am. I lost myself along the way. So now for me, it's finding myself, coming back home to who I am. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I've just learned so much in that space of your conversation right there. I just wonder, the new startups that you meet, the people that you meet who you're walking beside, with all of what's gone on in the last couple of years, how do you motivate people to want to still achieve and be great in the business world?
And that's a great question. I think for a lot of people, we can get caught up in the grass is greener on the other side. I think prior to COVID, a lot of people got caught up with the grass is green on the other side. It's a lot more easier for us. I grew up in the 90s. I don't know your age, but in the 90s, we didn't have social media. If you want to find something, you have to go to the library, or you have to get to the back of a newspaper, or try and find somewhere in the yellow pages to find what was going on, But there's so much more information now that it makes you feel what you have is so insignificant, it's so tiny, it's so small, it's so rubbish, it's so crap. I mean, we put ourselves down so much because we're always looking at the grass is greener on the other side. So what I tell my clients is, and I do this for myself, is that we need to kind of stop looking at the grass is green on the other side. The grass is green on your side. You have everything that you need. And I look back to when I started out in business. I started doing ebooks on eBay, and I didn't even have any money. When I started, I was very broke. I was in debt. I had debtors chasing me, so I was even afraid to go on the internet just in case they might find me.
Oh, wow.
So, but I knew I had to go if I needed to make some money. So I started with just looking what I had in my house. And I had like lots of DVDs for my children. And then I thought, okay, I can start selling this because they were getting older, they don't need DVDs. And I just started working with my small thing. And that's why I tell my client, don't look outside. Everything you have is literally inside of you. You might just need to tweak a little bit in your business, especially if you don't have the resources through COVID. Maybe you've lost some clients. You don't really have to spend that kind of money. and look at the grass thinking, well, they've got a big business, because you see them on Instagram, they're driving all these massive cars and all that kind of stuff. You can focus on what you have and say, look, okay, take some time and just reassess what you have and say, how can I tweak this? How can I make it better? Or how can I support the clients I have now? And let them ask them questions. What are you looking for? How can I support you during this COVID time? Because a lot of people would need that support. You know, a lot of people, it's difficult for a lot of people to reach out. You know, I was a person that wouldn't ask for help, and I'm sure a lot of people are like me as well. And so when you can be a person that can reach out to people and support them in that way, I think that you grow much more better. So that's why I told my clients, is like, just look at what you have now and how can you make that better?
Okay. So clearly you do have some of the ducks in the row. You do have some of the ticks, because I'm hearing the ticks. But what I want to know is, like, what do you think are some of your key strengths as, you know, a market player, as someone who's out there motivating people? What are some of the strengths that, you know, other people can learn from about Rachel? Yeah.
That's a good question. I would say you have to be an innovator. You have to be always learning. You know, because when I left school, trust me, I didn't want to learn again. I was like, cool, bye-bye, all gone, you know. And so the thought of having to learn again was, it was like, because I'm quite a free-spirited person. I studied business and fashion, but I wanted to lean. I did a business in fashion for about 2 years, and I thought it's just too expensive. Every 6 months, I'm having to change designs, and I literally designed it myself. Got someone to make it. Got a catalog. I did the fashion show. Did all that stuff, and people bought it. But to keep it sustainable was so much for me. But when I look back, I wasn't willing to learn. I just loved the glimpse and the glamour of just a business. I wasn't willing to kind of sit down and learn the steps. I wanted to jump the steps, you know. And because sometimes it takes a while for what you have or what you love to grow, or for people to find you online, or people to even know that you exist. So you have to be really grounded and have some kind of learning that will help you sustain you in whatever niche that you are. So I would say always learn and always grow. Find out what's the big thing in the industry, not the next big thing, but what can sustain you. So for example, I'm in marketing, and a lot of people will focus, when I was doing marketing, they'll focus on the next big thing. You know, TikTok, I'm not on TikTok, you know. I still don't have a TikTok account. But no, but a lot of marketers will start saying, okay, move from Instagram, go to TikTok, or move from Facebook, go to Instagram, move from Instagram, go to, you know, WhatsApp or the meeting rooms, all these other apps. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that, you know. And I got, just about a month ago, I got a contract with TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok. So you don't have to keep chasing what's there. Just refine what you have, be a master at what you have, and be solid expert. So when everyone's being fickle and going around, you're still there. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to have to change. Like I said, I've just changed my business. I've changed my brand and changed my logo 8 months ago, but I'm still there. I'm still right where I am. So when people have done chasing everything, they're going to come back to you. So it's the learning that's going to keep you grounded. It's the learning that's going to keep you focused. And also it's the learning that's going to give you inspiration. You're going to learn something new, you know, because sometimes we get stale, we get bored, and the learning just keeps that little momentum going. So that's one thing I would give. Just learn about your industry, learn about your craft, and that will sustain you all the way.
Okay. So I hear that, learning, being, you know, sort of focused in what you're doing, and, you know, following your own lead in terms of the area that you're in, and not trying to go all over the place, trying to create sparks where they don't need to be. But I'm wondering, as a woman, sometimes we are challenged in business, mainly because of family. You know, if you've got a family, a growing family, that can either support or it can hinder. What's it been like for you?
Yeah, you know what? I've been lucky to have my husband. He's a great support. You know, now we're talking about, I actually realize how much more of a support he is, because we are so different. I'm an A-type personality. So I'm the man, he's the woman. Funny enough, you know, in sense of energy, he's so much more laid back. He'll do the cooking. He will spend time talking with the children. He's so much more of a mother hen, and more of like an A-type person at business. And, you know, that was a bit difficult for us at the beginning, but we've learned to kind of like combine our strengths. And we've done, again, the learning. We've actually gone on the journey to know our personality types. to know our anagram types, to know what we're good at, what we're not good at, so we can merge together and work with each other rather than pulling each other away. And I think if you are a mother, you know, and you're in a relationship, I think it's important to kind of know the strength of your partner, because sometimes you could be using that partner wrong and they'll be using you wrong. Once you know the strength, then you can work together. And I've been married 25 years, been with my husband 28 years, and I could truly say we're not perfect, but we know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we work on that. So I don't do nothing that's my weakness. He doesn't do nothing that's his weakness, and we just blend. So it's like, for example, you know, I would do stuff that he's not good at. So he doesn't like organization, he doesn't like planning, he doesn't like the budget. But I don't like cooking. I don't like spending, you know, I love my children, but I don't like sitting them and talking about 2 hours about what they're happening in college and this person upset them, all that kind of thing. My husband's good at that. I'm like, yeah, you do it. Love it, love it, love it. And I'll do the other side. And we work together. So we just blend on each other. So I would say that's the best thing. Get to know each other, get to know your strengths and weaknesses, and then just blend that in and work. I mean, and if it's difficult for the other partner to understand that you're a business owner, then, you know, you can outsource. Then if you're doing too much, outsource some of your work. Try not to do too much, because, you know, it's difficult, you know, wearing a lot of hats as women, you know. So outsource some of that work. It doesn't have to be expensive to outsource. I mean, this day and age, you can get it so cheap. You know, the pound can go a long way. You know, the pound can go a long way if you could get someone in India, someone in Africa, someone in all around the world. So don't just think of just the UK. You know, when you outsource to around the world, because a lot of people looking for jobs, and also that will benefit us if we can use that pound to spread out and also help other people, but we also helping ourselves as well. So that's what I would say.
That's a great answer. Are there any other weaknesses that have affected your, you know, your ability to be successful in business?
Other weaknesses, I'm sure there is, but I don't focus on my weaknesses, because I think that's what a lot of people do, and that's what they tell us to do. And I spent 20 odd years focusing on my weaknesses, and I tend not to do that. I know I have them, but because I'm learning and I'm always willing to learn and grow, I know that I will improve my weaknesses. But it's no point me spending my time focusing on my weaknesses, because it's just a waste of time. I might as well just focus on my strength and get better, master my craft, master my personality, master myself as a person. And rather than focus on my weakness, getting depressed and sad and like, oh, I can't do nothing, this person's better than me, you know, because that's what they teach us. But it doesn't do us any good. Focus on our strength, because it's our strength is going to take us to where we want to go, and for us to live our dreams and fulfill it, rather than, you know, because we're all going to have weaknesses, but just don't put all your energy on it. Look at it a little bit, work on it, but focus on your strengths and work on that.
Okay, great answer. Great answer. I want to ask you about the business right now. Is there any particular offer that you are working on, or any particular promotion that anybody listening to will want to go and look for you on Instagram and kind of grab it right now?
Yeah, thank you for that. I've got a lot of courses. Rachel Academy has a course section. Just go on a tab and just click on the courses, and it has a lot of courses for people who want to grow and expand their business. There's some stuff on there that you don't get online. What I kind of teach is just like the secret sources that a lot of people don't talk about, but I've done for 18 years. A lot of people think, for example, you know, going out on the street and putting your business card in certain places, you know, like on the bus stop, or like, you know, or in the back of like the library or the book, that those things don't work. Those things still work very, very well to this day and age. You know, a lot of people just focus on the internet. There's so much other ways that you can grow yourself. So we teach a lot of just basic, try and tested steps and systems that have been done for ages that still work, but also we talk about the modern stuff as well, as in social media and, you know, management and networking, you know. And we also talk about stuff if you are a mother at home and you want to like bring some extra income. We talk about how you can do that as well, because that's how I started, and there's a lot of ways that you can do that, because I think that's a lot of the things that we struggle with as business owners. Income, you know, residual income, because it takes a lot of time for us to start. We might even make some money, but it might be 4 months, 5 months later down the line before you get any other pay. So you need residual income while you are that short time where you don't have the money. And so that's what we try and do. So we talk about business, but we talk about residual income, so you can blend the two together. So on Rachel Academy, just go to courses tab and you can find that. Obviously you can find me on Facebook, social media, Instagram, we post all that stuff there as well.
Brilliant. So just a couple of questions to go, because I know
Yeah,
you're a busy lady.
that's fine.
I'm just thinking about this, the opportunities that have come out of the whole COVID era. A lot of people are now thinking, I want to start my own business. You've got baby boomers that are coming to the end of their careers who are now thinking, actually, I want to set up a retirement package where I'm not working a 9 to 5. I'm actually more in control of my time. And, the things I've learned for the last maybe 20, 30 years, I can bring this and create my own business. Are you doing some work with that kind of group to kind of build and develop them?
Yes. Like we said, launch, run, grow. So launch is basically someone that's never started a business at all. They're leaving a 9 to 5 and want to start a business. Run is people that are in business that want to grow the business. And then grow is people that want to like make extra money, like they want to start a course. Maybe they haven't had a course before. They want to create like maybe a series, a podcast, or all that kind of thing. So that's the grow element. So we teach them through the different stages how you can maximize your brand and grow it, because there's no point just having a website and you're not making money from it. And a lot of people don't teach that. A lot of people think just starting a business, that's all you need to do. A good book, I would say, is Robert Kiyosaki. It talks about the quadrants, talks about how you can start from a 9 to 5, then you move from a 9 to 5, and then you become a business owner, as in sense of freelancer. From that freelancer, you start actually running a business, and then you become an investor. So I never tell my clients to jump out ship and start a business, because it took me 12 years before I actually started making any money. But because I loved what I was doing, so I was part-time as a teacher. And then from that, I went into Rachel Academy. And then after I'd made some money, then I jumped out of it. So I would say stay your 9 to 5, but start your business part-time. Definitely start it part-time, because again, residual income, I always say 5, because you can manage five ways that you can make some money. Because look at COVID now, a lot of businesses closed because all their eggs were in one basket. And even big companies, like I think, what was the one? I was Topshop had to close. I used to go to Topshop on a regular basis. Now there's this big empty shop where I live, because Topshop, all they had was just this company of fashion. And they could have done so much more. They could have got like affiliates to work for them. They didn't have no affiliates. They could have started having newsletters, because I work with Topshop in the sense of like I bought stuff from them, but I never got emails from them, not once. Yeah. And I'm like, you could have done that. So they could have built a lot of their clientele. So when COVID hit, they would have still be okay. And you can tell the businesses that do that, like Amazon, like IKEA. I get newsletters from there all the time. So just because COVID hit doesn't mean, you have to fail. It's just that there's 5 residual income. Every business should have 5 residual incomes, 5 different ways that money's coming into that one egg. So then when things happen, you can pivot and not think, oh my gosh, everything's over.
Well, that's great advice. I need you just to be my personal assistant and give me advice. Thank you so much, Rachel. So final question, what do you see the future for Rachel Academy?
Yeah, what do I see the future? That's a good question. I work on a lot of different things. Rachel Academy is not my one business. It's one of the things that I do. What I would like to see a big event happen. I tried to do it when I became director of Ghana Chambers in 2016, but because they were changing presidents in the country, a lot of heads were changing, a lot of people were changing, so they didn't really launch properly in the UK with me. I think someone else took on that role, because I had a bigger idea for what I wanted to do. And I think for the way that people work is connection. It's good that we can do it online, but I think it'd be good if we can do a big event where people can come together and learn from each other, and not just sitting down listening to people. Get people that people don't know, and actually get them to speak on stage, because them speaking on stage will give them that confidence, so that they can know, I'm doing really well. Because we can learn from all the big guys, but we've all heard them before. You can get a lot of gems, really good gems, for ordinary people going in the struggle, who are in the trenches. And when they get on stage and speak, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so powerful. So that's what I would like to do. I would like to get people that not a lot of people know, get them on stage and teach other people, because that's how we learn. We learn like this, we don't learn like that. Because sometimes we look at the big guys and they think they're just too much for us, they're too big. We just kind of get insecure. But if we have people on the same level, we're more likely to lower that insecurity and that doorway to listen to what they're saying, and actually learn something from them. So that's why I would like Rage Academy to be a big events where we get people together and teach them stuff about business and personal development, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that is great, and I can't wait for what you will deliver in the future. I love your ideas. I love your energy and your passion for your business. I wish you really well with it, and I pray it all goes well. I just keep watching you, because you're my person. It's like when you're running a race and you've got someone running in front of you, just kind of marking the race out for you. And
that's so lovely. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you so much. Thank you for your podcast, and I will be sharing it to everyone to hear as well. So thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you, and have a great weekend and rest of the day. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.